Okay, on to the A form bar chord lesson. So with this one, we're going to change it up to the 5th string root. All right, so we're not going to play on the low E string. And we have a new form now, A major. So this is a new chord shape that we're going to use to make bar chords. So instead of doing that fingering, what we're going to do to prep the bar, this time it's going to be a 3rd finger bar. Now, for this chord, it's a 3rd finger bar. For the other ones, we're going to go back to our 1st finger bar. For the other chords like minor and 7 and all that. But for the major one, it's a 3rd finger bar. So we're going to do this A chord, but hold it down with the 3rd finger like that. Definitely seems impractical. Now with the E string, some people can like bend this backwards. I don't do that. It's just painful. So if you're double jointed, then that's awesome. But I just dampen it. So I go open 2 2 2, and I dampen it. So then we're going to take that to the 3rd fret, put our 1st finger down on the A string. Now I'm still like laying it flat across, but I don't need to really press down a bar. All right, so then I have frets 1 3 3. Now again, if you are double jointed or if you can bend that back and get that E string, then more power to you. But right now that's painful to my 3rd finger, so I'm moving on. 2 4 4 4. 3 5 5, and so on. And so you can move this one around, and that's your A major bar form. Now for naming these chords, it's going to be on the A string. A is open, A sharp is 1st fret, B is 2nd, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, then we go right to F. There's technically no F or E sharp, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So now we're gonna take these chords to our 3rd fret C, and we're going to practice them here and change the forms around. So one last thing I would say is that there is a classical version of this. Instead of doing the 3rd finger like this, you can line up the fingers 2, 3, and 4 and get a nice bar out of that. So again, if we go back to the A chord, instead of playing 1, 2, and 3, you could do 2, 3, and 4 like this. The only reason I don't like doing this, and I'm classically trained, so I am partial to this chord, but when we're playing rock music, you're not going to have time really to jump into this, because a lot of times we're, jumping around to the chords like that. We're not going to be able to, like, it's just going to be really laborious to do it that way. I think if the person from the band is playing it this way and they wrote the song that way, then they're moving to and from that chord a certain way. So I think we should just do it that way anyway. Okay. 3rd fret, major. So that's a C major. This one is a minor form. That's a C minor. Now this one looks like the old major, right? But we're over a string. If you notice, we're not over here, we're there. And again, if we look at this form, right, it looks like an A minor chord, whereas this looked like an A major chord. Here's an A minor. Now if we go to the 7, here's an A7 shape, right? Now it's on C, 3rd fret, so we're calling this a C7 chord. But the shape of the chord, again, if we made this a capo and then did an A7 chord like that, if you're familiar with that. Anyway, I'm jumping around a lot. Let's go back real quick. C, 3rd fret, major shape. Then we have a minor shape. All right, these are all A form or A shape chords. And then we have a 7. Then we have our minor 7. And then I love this one, the major 7. Very jazzy. All right, one of the greatest uses in rock music of that chord was 10 Years Gone by Led Zeppelin. Check that song out. You'll hear some jazzy chords in one of the transitions before the heavy riff. Okay, now that we have those forms down, basically we're going to go through some chord progressions, again, matching the letter with the chord form. So if we're going to go to our, let's say, 4th fret, C sharp, and then we put down our minor 7 shape. That's a C sharp minor 7. So we're just kind of, matching the note name to the chord type. So if I go to a D and do a minor, that's a D minor bar chord. And in this form, the reason we're calling it A form or A shape is that our first finger acting as a capo, if we imagine that's a capo on there, I'm making an A minor shape chord here. But I'm doing it with a bar instead of using a capo. Okay, so have some more progressions for you using the A-shaped chords or the A-form chords. Practice those. Then what I would do is take one of these chord progressions, and I would highly suggest you do this, and mix the forms up. Let's say, for example, you're doing something like this, E flat major. All right, so I just found E flat, and I matched it with a major. Again, I'm still using the A-shaped chords here. And then I go to like a C minor. Right, so let's say that was the progression, E flat major to C minor. Now I could try this a couple different ways. I could try this on the E form, although that's going to put me way up here for the E flat. E flat major, and then the C minor. So maybe I like this one, but I don't like that one. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep the E flat from the A shape and then try the C minor from the E shape. Now I have a progression that kind of sounds cool. Or I could just keep it the other way. The thing is, I have options now, right? I can move my chord progressions around. Now, if you have a chord progression that is 8 chords long, you can see that there's a lot of creative possibilities here. Another possibility is if one guitar player wants to do like a on that C minor, right? And then the other guitar player wants to do a higher harmonization. Right? And then together it would sound like something like that, I don't know. But it would sound awesome if you have 2 people playing different harmonizations of bar chords. We're getting a little bit into the weeds here, but you see the idea. So take some progressions, make up your own. Just write 4 random letters. F sharp, A, B flat, E. I don't know, just like random letters. And then minor 7, major, minor, or something, and just like match them and see if you can figure out how to play that and how it would sound, and then see if you can figure out different fingerings of those things. So F sharp, let's say it was minor. I could do that one or that one. Where do I want to start? I don't know. Maybe one time I do this way, the other time I do this way. Now we have different options of how to fret your chords. All right? Practice the progressions and then have fun with inventing your own stuff using bar chords.